June 15th, 2014, from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. It was the 2014 NBA Finals. And in Game 5, we were seeing the Miami Heat at the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs came into this game with a 3-1 lead in the series. They were looking to finish off the Heat at home. The Heat had other ideas, though. They started off hot in the first quarter, as they had a huge lead as they were up by more than 10 points in the first quarter, until Manu Ginobili hit a trade, then Kawhi Leonard hit a trade, and Patty Mills hit a trade. It was a 4-point game at 22-18 with just under 3 minutes left in the third. But then LeBron James hit a trade, and at the end of one, it was 29-22 as the Heat had a 7-point lead. But in the second quarter, the Spurs would close that gap. They would eventually take the lead when Kawhi Leonard hit a three-pointer just under 5 minutes left before halftime to put the Spurs up 37-35. The Spurs would end up pushing that lead to 7 points, as now they had a 7-point lead going into the locker rooms with the score 47-40. But then in the third quarter, Patty Mills took over this game as he scored 14 points in the third quarter. He went off. In one stretch, he scored 8 straight points, and that didn't even include him hitting 3 3-pointers in a stretch where during this stretch, he scored 11 of the Spurs points, and only Ginobili in there had a 3. So he scored 11 out of 14 points during that stretch for the Spurs. And he ended up scoring 14 points overall in the third quarter. And after 3, the score was 77-58 as San Antonio just took this game over. And they were up by 19 points going to the fourth quarter. And in the fourth, they just coasted to victory as the Heat were not able to close that gap. They were down by double digits. And at the end of the day, it was 104-87 as the San Antonio Spurs win this game, and they win the 2014 NBA Finals as they are the 2014 NBA champions. And Tim Duncan gets his 5th ring as he has now cemented his legacy as one of the best players ever to play the game of basketball. He's right up there with the great ones like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bill Russell, and Tim Duncan as guys that have won multiple championships, and now he has 5, which is a very rare feat. Very few players have got 5 rings. He has one for every finger on his hand, on his shooting hand. He had a really good game and a really good series, and in this game, Tim Duncan had 14 points and 8 rebounds, just 2 rebounds shy of the double-double. He had 2 assists and 2 blocks as well. Kawhi Leonard actually had a double-double. He had 22 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block. Tony Parker had 16 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. And coming off the bench, Manu Ginobili had 19 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. And Patty Mills had 17 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. And this was at 14 points in that third quarter where Patty Mills just turned it on and took over the game. He was the unlikely hero coming off the bench. I mean, they got the big 3 there in San Antonio with Duncan and Parker and Ginobili, who have now actually won more games, more playoff games than any other trio in NBA history with 117 wins in the NBA playoffs. Because in these playoffs, they actually passed the Laker triple of Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Michael Cooper, as they had won 110 games. The Showtime Lakers, they're back in the 80s. But the Spurs, they're not just that trio. They also got other good players like Danny Green, Boris Diaw, Kawhi Leonard. They came to play, as did Thiago Splitter, Jeff Ayers. Patty Mills came up big in this game. Bellinelli, Corey Joseph, Aaron Baines, even Matt Bonner. They all contributed, and they are all the champions. And everyone in Texas is going wild as the San Antonio Spurs win this game, and they win the NBA Finals. LeBron James actually was the high scorer in the game. He had 31 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. He had a double-double, but he was pretty much the only one who did anything on the Miami end. And the Heat fell short and LeBron James did not get another championship. This one goes to Tim Duncan and the Spurs. They are the best team this year, and they avenged their loss from last year. They lost in 7 games, but this year they win it in 5. And the NBA Finals MVP was Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard had a couple of huge games